Should there be public unions?
I think that unions have largely outlived their time, and I don't understand them in the public arena. There was a time 100 and so years ago when unions were needed, when people were being abused in the workplace, and we never want that. But in the public sector, I don't see the reason for having them anymore. These pensions we have are unaffordable. I think the only people who should have pensions are police and fire and the military. You know, first responders, people are putting themselves in harm's way. Why should some desk jockey, some bureaucrat have a pension? These were created 40 years ago when private sector folks had pensions. You don't need them to be competitive in the marketplace anymore. And we can't afford them. You know, Jim McDougall, who's right here from Pinellas, has written this book, Unsustainable, about these pensions that are going to kill us. You've got people retiring from state government with $100,000 a year payment for the rest of their life, and then this drop program, which is giving them $300,000 and $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 as a cash payment on the way out the door. It's absolutely outrageous. We got to get rid of it. State legislature did some stuff this year to have people contribute. It's only 3%. It's not enough. The governor wanted more. I think they should have done more. So we've got to stop those programs, and only the first responders and the military, to me, are the ones who should have them.
Tell us your philosophy on subsidies and earmarks.
I'm the only candidate in this race who's never requested an earmark who's held any office. Only one. And because I'm also the only candidate in this race who's held office who's never voted for a tax increase, which you should know. But let me tell you about these earmarks. They sound good. You know, folks from your community come up to Washington when I'm a senator and say, hey, we need this bridge. Hey, we need this water treatment plant. Hey, we need whatever. And they could be good projects. But the problem is that it's the gateway drug. It's the engine that drives the train of spending. And this is how it works. That budget I was telling you about for one particular piece of the government, 10 or 15%, 20% more than last year, well, you can't vote against it if your project's in it. That's how they get you. So I never asked for one, and I never will. If you send me back, I will not ask for an earmark for my career in public service, because it is the reason, part of the reason why spending is out of control.
There is a budget crunch, and you have to reduce spending. Which of these agencies' budgets would you reduce? EPA, DOE, or FDA?
All of them. We're going to have to cut everything, my friends. We have to cut, and I'm going to say something that folks in this room may not want to hear, but I'm going to be honest with you and give you some straight talk. We can't spend as much money on the Defense Department. You don't think the Defense Department is inefficient and ineffective? Yeah. The F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, which we're about to receive at Tyndall Air Force Base, and we're happy to have that base here and to do this training. We commissioned that plane in 1995. It is $18 billion over budget. We went to the moon faster. We went to the moon cheaper. And it's not the best plane we have. So we've got these combatant commands all over the world. We've got troop stations in places that don't make as much sense, like Germany, with 30,000 plus troops. We're going to have to make cuts everywhere. And if we as Republicans, if we say, no, we're not going to touch defense, we have no credibility. We've got to touch everything. We need the world's greatest fighting force, but everything can be done more efficiently and effectively.
What is your opinion of climate change science?
Well, I think there's a debate, and there needs to be a healthy debate. This idea that some of the negative, the information that showed that it might not be happening was suppressed by the international community. I'm not a scientist. I'm not sure whether or not we're having climate change. It concerns me. I think it concerns everybody. I'm someone who lives in Florida. My house is about 1 foot above sea level. But I don't think that we can base policy off of something that we don't know the answer to. And we can't base policy off of something that may not be being caused by us. So when I look at all issues, I have to want to tell you, when someone presents me something, I don't reject it out of hand. I study it. I evaluate it. And I try to find out what's right. So I looked at the cap and trade proposal that happened in Washington from Graham and Kerry and Lieberman. I looked at it. But I talked to Tampa Electric Company. And they told me that it was going to raise rates 30%. And it was also going to send businesses overseas. Because Brazil and China and India and all these other places aren't going to do it. So why would we unilaterally disarm based upon science is not clear? Didn't make sense to me. So I don't support a carbon tax, and I'm not going to be someone who's going to legislate about that issue on the environment. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What is the purpose of climate change regulations?
Well, there are those who believe that climate change is happening and they want to tax carbon to have less carbon emissions because they believe carbon emissions are causing global warming. Again, the science is not clear. And why would we hurt American businesses and raise your power rates if it's not clear? Let's do this. Let's become energy independent. Let's have more natural gas, more nuclear. Let's have all those technologies be here in this country, and then let's not rely upon foreign oil. Nuclear energy is the cleanest energy possible. Let's build 50 to 100 nuclear power plants. We can have clean air. We can have jobs. We don't have to give up a productive economy to be good about the environment. Look, we all care about the environment. We're in Florida. We wouldn't be here but for the fact that this place is beautiful. So let's not screw it up, but let's not do things that are unsound and foolish when the science isn't there and the cost is too high.
In attending county commission meetings over the past year, our members have been shocked to discover the implementation of global governance throughout all facets of our local government. Terms such as smart growth, green print, and sustainable development indicate UN-based policies being implemented locally under the general umbrella of Agenda 21. What do you know about Agenda 21?
Well, I've been learning about it, and I was talking to the Martin County Tea Party folks this week on Friday. And they were the first folks, when I went and spoke at their meeting 3 or 4 months ago, who brought this to my attention. It's very concerning. Look, I'm not for international law. I'm for American law. I'm for private property. I'm for you as a man or a woman who was given rights by God to be able to do whatever you need to do as long as you're not interfering with your neighbor. Right? That's what we believe in as Republicans. That's people we believe in as constitutionalists. So I am not for Agenda 21. I'm not for any of this international law, and I will be vigilant, and I will look to you to help me be vigilant, because these things creep in. They creep in, and they come in under things that sound fine. Who's not for green? Who's not for smart growth? They sound innocuous, but they come with an agenda behind them, and I will keep my eye out for them if I have the privilege of going back, and I will look to you to help me to be vigilant against those programs.
Last question. Are there any conditions under which international law should be considered or applied to the U.S., for example, for gun control, Sharia law, parental rights?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was within the time limit on that.
Yes, you were. And we thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Whatever you're saying, Barb, I'm doing.
Chance, Barb.
And you can just
Sit right here.
sit there.
This chair?
No, not like that.
The only time you'll be able to do that.
I know it. Oh, I gotta have fun with it. So, now for the questions. And again, we have 90 seconds or less. You can take less time. Number 1 question. Will you pledge to fully repeal Obamacare?
Yes. I voted against it. When I first got there is when Obamacare came up. We spent 23 straight days in the United States Senate fighting against Obamacare. And I believe with your help, that's what led to what we were able to accomplish in 2010, because the people woke up. 23 straight days in a row was the longest continuous session of the U.S. Senate since the Senate decided whether or not to go to war during World War I. And shortly thereafter, Scott Brown was elected in Massachusetts, which gives me hope for my county of Broward, that we can elect a Republican anywhere. So yes, I will vote to repeal it. It is killing jobs. It's killing jobs in Florida. Businesses feel like they don't know what the landscape is. They have too much uncertainty, too many mandates, too many taxes, too many regulations. Why is this economy not recovering? In part because of Obamacare, Dodd-Frank, EPA regulations, too much legislation, too many taxes. We've got to repeal them. Business